And welcome to another California Guy video with your boy California Guy. What's up, everybody, and welcome to this new video entitled Don't Vote, Don't Bitch. That's right, I'm saying it. Don't vote, don't bitch. Now, I noticed for the last month or two from on Black YouTube, including Tariq Nasheed, which I respect. I respect Tariq Nasheed. And there's been other black YouTubers and black people on Facebook, Twitter, and multiple platforms who is insistent on black people not voting. Now, I did a video response to Mr. Mighty, but now I'm just going to go into more details about this not voting stuff and how it does not benefit black people. Now, number one, this is the United States of America. It's the U.S. Now, the U.S. is supposed to be land of the free, but it's not, of course, not for black people. But we have fought long and hard for the right to vote and pay taxes and have equality in this country, even though it was stolen from our own land. Mind you, voting has been the most powerful tool to the black man and the black woman in this country because it was a shift. We needed a shift. Now, voting for black people matters a lot because if it wasn't for voting, slavery probably wouldn't have ended. Slavery probably would have ended as early as it did. Slavery was going to end because God wasn't going to let slavery continue. But, you know, voting helped to free black people. Voting helped to get the Civil Rights Bill in. Voting helped in many areas. That's why white people try to take it. Now, I'm going to ask the black people something. African American people this. If voting was so non-important, why did white people try to take it away? Anybody can answer me in the response video or in the comment section. If the voting was not supposed to mean anything, why did they lynch black people? Why was black people killed? Why did they have poll taxes for black people? That's the question. Nobody wants to answer that. Why did they want to keep black people from voting in congressional races, statewide races, and federal? Why? Why did they want to keep it? Because they knew if the black man voted, change would have happened. Let's just say black people would have voted if they had the right to vote as far back as the Reconstruction period, and that would have continued. We would have had more change in this country, and we probably had more equality. But because they restricted African American people of voting, they put in different laws and used murder tactics and Nazi tactics. Black people wasn't able to vote. And so, with black people not voting, change doesn't happen. Here's the problem with the whole argument of voting doesn't matter. If voting doesn't matter, like the police brutality in the Second Amendment and the right to search, and let's go to police brutality, because that's been the thing in the last couple of years. Now, you have the search and seizure and police stopping you. The Supreme Court, a couple of years ago, a conservative Supreme Court, they passed a law for police to have more powers. This was 6 years ago. They had more power. They gave the police more powers in various states to have reason to search your car. That's through the Supreme Court. Now, let me show you the power behind that. If black people don't vote for a president that's got our interests in heart, you get that kind of issue because the president selects a Supreme Court justice. The Supreme Court justice decides federal law. Supreme Court judge dies on the bench, basically, like Scalia. Basically, they're appointed for life. So a Supreme Court judge could decide precedent over our lives, and the judge is very important. And so because that fell on black people's ears, I think black people was aware of this, that the search and seizure laws became a little bit more, they extended it. The conservative courts extended it. Another thing to look at is affirmative action. The Supreme Court, conservative judges have stricken rights away in different states. They've taken rights, even federal judges have taken rights away from affirmative action in colleges. And so, again, a conservative judge have struck down and weakened rights for African American students as well as other minorities to attend certain schools, and that's due to voting doesn't matter. Voting rights, even in southern states and midwestern states, You have governors that, you have governors who are corrupt and not trying to even push through legislation because, again, black people don't like voting. So they're trying to restrict black people, elderly black people who doesn't have ID and who doesn't can't even, some have are illiterate, and they're restricting them from voting. So, but again, voting doesn't matter. Ferguson, you had the jury with the Ferguson and the Attorney General. Again, the Attorney Generals, they're voted in. They're not selected by people. So again, maybe it would have been a different outcome if the city council would have been black, if the Attorney General would have been voted by people in Ferguson, and maybe a mayor, then you would have a different outcome with the cop. Superintendent schools, problems with schools. You vote for superintendent if you're into education. Again, if you don't vote, if you have racism in elementary schools, or a black kid may want to go to a decent school to get a decent education in a suburban area, but you have certain laws put in place, and the superintendent is going to say, okay, that kid can't go to that school because he doesn't live in his neighborhood, then guess what? That's, again, your fault. So that's why the video is, don't have no opinion about the laws of the land if you're not going to do something about it and unify in a proper manner. There's a wide range of black issues that needs to be voted in, because we still have a long way to go as far as the struggle for equality in the United States. It's still a long way. But I think it's a defeatist attitude to say do not vote, or that's not going to, because there's no other ideals outside of voting. Except for riots, maybe, but that doesn't always work. So we need to do things differently. We need to amend laws, change laws, have policy to come in there, because policy is stronger. Now, racism you'll never defeat. Racism is in your heart, but at the end of the day, voting is change. You know, we want to not and you can vote for judges, even in local, governors. Even you can vote for black governors and governors that speak your interests in some states. Black people don't like voting. They say voting doesn't matter. Yes, it does matter. If you vote, because if you guys think about it, if some states in the South, which is a big black population, if we could vote in the West Coast, if we could vote in the East Coast, all our people vote all over the United States that has huge black populations. Guess what? Change starts to happen. People start to notice black people. But when black people sit at home and say, "Oh, let's not vote," or "I don't care," I'm just gonna vote for the presidents, but we don't vote for Congress. Congress is important, the Senate, or we don't vote for judges and superintendents and all those other functions of government. Guess what? We're ignored. They laugh at us. That's why, in fact, that's why Hispanic people are listened to, because they use the ballot box. The Hispanic people are stronger voices than African American people because they use their right to vote. We as a people will not do it. So we sit around and say we shouldn't vote because other black people didn't vote in the states that we need them to vote for. I know for me, I'm a voter, and I'm going to continue voting and fighting for equality and encouraging other black people to vote. So like and share this video, people. Let's talk about this. Peace out.